Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we'll be taking a look at the two-player starter box for Gangs of the Undercity. This is by the company Fragging Unicorn. So this is the basic starter set for $75. They have a next grade up that includes more accessories to play the game. But if you're already an existing wargamer, or want to just get the base essentials you need to play, this is the set for you. Now I got this with the Kickstarter, so I didn't pay the 75 bucks, but the 75 bucks right here, let's just look bottom line up front. What's the advantage? 12 miniatures, because that's the most important thing, is the 12 miniatures. So that'll come out to $6.25 a miniature before you factor everything else in. And given the quality of these sculpts, which we'll look at later on in this video, that is a very good deal for $6.25. Their website pictures and all their promo pictures do not give justice to just how finely detailed, and in some cases just delicate, these models came out, and just beautifully rendered. So $6.25, even throw away everything else, you'll have 12 great miniatures there. But what else comes in the box? You have two gangs, so the Valkyrs and the Flaming Skulls, and you'll have the various in-game tokens to play both those factions. Most of these are to track game states, Overwatch and Grit. Put that there, and then you get the Pocket Rulebook, which right now, as of this filming, isn't available for sale on their website. But if you go through Drive-Thru RPG, just the PDF of the rulebook is 10 bucks, and the full-size fancy hardcover rulebook is 40. So if you factor, let's say this is 20 bucks, and you factor that into the cost of this, because you want to play the game with the tokens, that pushes the cost per model down below $6.25. So before we go into what the unboxing looks like and getting a close look at the miniatures, just want to say, if you're into Cyberpunk Skirmish, if you're into Shadowrun, this is a definite buy. At the cost per miniatures, it's a good deal out there. So let's go ahead and see what happens when you crack open one of these boxes. So here is the Gangs of the Undercity starter box as I got it through the mail after backing the Kickstarter. So you can actually see it's a pretty small form factor on the box, which will actually increase my ability to store this if I decide to turn this into the storage container. But it shows the two gangs there. So when you open it, get inside, and they filled up with sheets of bubble wrap. So 2 sheets of bubble wrap. What I like about that is that pressed all the metal miniatures inside against here, so these guys couldn't rattle around. Now, what I like about that is that attention to detail, is because stuff that rattles around gets bent. Now, let's start looking. The miniatures are on top, and so we've got their bases, and we have the 2 starter gang factions. Now, here's what I like about that. Since stuff couldn't rattle around, instead of putting, like Games Workshop does, a piece of art between here, they took the tokens that come with the set, and those are placed down with the miniatures on top to protect the cover of the tiny rulebook. So everything's put together there, and there's the silica gel, which I have to keep my dogs away from, so I'll have to throw that away outside. But you can see, very simple set for the basic 2-player starter, but that's all I needed. Now, I wanted to focus a little bit more this time on the Flaming Skulls miniatures themselves. So you realize you get 6 miniatures and a bag of the appropriate bases for them. They're all individually packaged because these are, except for this individual, they're all multi-part metal. And so you can see, got the tiniest from a goblin, who's the only guy here that has just a tiny little optics package. He's got both his arms in there. But let's open one of these up, because when you do multi-part metal, or any model, you're trying to go for a higher detail. So we'll get one of these out. You can see slight mold line right there. But these are fresh molds. I don't really see any signs of them. Not too much flash. Very well sculpted, actually. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get these guys cleaned up on their bases and compare them to the other gang here. So here we have the Valkyr section of the box set. Comes with its own little bag of bases here. Makes it easy if you're trying to split this with someone. And I'll just grab, I guess we'll grab this one. See how it looks here. And what's helpful about them all being individually bagged is that they are multi-part, which seeing has allowed us to get like a very good detail on the sculpt. So you can see the molds are still fresh, so the mold line's not too bad, maybe a little bit around the hips, touching the hair possibly. The biggest part about the Valkyrs will be straightening out these gun barrels, because they went for more true scale on that, so we'll have to bend that into place carefully and watch out for dropping these things, which I always do. So we'll go ahead and get these cleaned up and on their bases. Now I have all the models cleaned up and put together. So something I will say is that the website pictures of these models do not give them justice. Very well sculpted and very well molded. Let's talk about some of the issues I had here. The two-part. So we have the flaming skulls here and the Valkyrs here, so 6 models each side. 2 of the flaming skull models came as 2 pieces. So you have the torso and the legs on these 2 models. The way the metal sprue was tied into these torsos made it a real pain to clean, and this one fit together all right, but that took some work, and I just wasn't able to get this one to come together right. You can see there's a little gap right in her torso there. Just the way the metal comes, trying to get my file to clean some of that off. Looks alright from the back. I've got a little gap in the front, so I don't know if I have some green stuff to take care of that or what. But those are probably the more challenging. But, you know, it comes out. The one that's disappointing is the sniper. So, if you look, here's the stock of his weapon system, and you can see right there, there's flashing that goes down, connecting his forearm to the stock. What you see is that's actually a giant piece of metal right there. And it is a chunky one, and it runs through a lot of the detail of the hand, the stock, the sweatshirt, the left bicep. So I put a little cut in there just to see what it would be like, and for the tools I have, I probably have to drill this out, then take an X-Acto blade, but then I would end up just having, instead of this chunk of metal, a scar around where it was. So I haven't decided how to deal with that, because I'd also have to clean it out between the forearm and the butt of the rifle, and it just, I think it turned into a big mess. So right now I'm thinking that I'll just paint it as is and hope for the best. I'd rather they made this in 3 parts, so I wouldn't be left with that flash in there. I mean, it probably wouldn't be noticeable in the games, but it's one of those things, I know it's there. Otherwise, what was impressive is just the thinness of some of these weapons. So, I mean, if you look at that, and they will bump around, but you can bend them out straight. But don't worry, they'll bend again. So they're done in true scale. The part that's really impressive is their wizard has a katana. That was a pain to clean and straighten out, but it came together. But very well detailed models. So overall, the set is very well produced for a brand new company. And the quality of the sculpts and the quality of the molding process, very high end. Very pleased with the set. So if you are into Cyberpunk Skirmish or are a fan of Shadowrun, this is a definite buy, especially at $75 before shipping and handling. So, thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.